Most people assume that aging alone after 60 slowly makes a man weaker, less support. Some days feel quieter than you expected. Some problems feel heavier because there is nobody nearby to share them with. And sometimes the silence can make a man wonder whether he is becoming less important than he once was. By this age, most men have already said goodbye to people they once assumed would always be there. And little by little, the world becomes quieter. Fewer calls, fewer invitations, fewer people needing anything from them. And sometimes that happens, but something else happens too. Some men become more capable than they have ever been. Not in the way they were at 30, a different quality appears. They handle problems without panic. They adapt faster. They carry more of life on their own shoulders. And strangely enough, many men never discover that side of themselves until they begin living alone. Because solitude has a way of revealing what is really there. It exposes weakness, but it also reveals character. The men who thrive are not the men who avoid difficulty. They are the men who stop running from it. He stays capable. A man at 60 learns this fast. If his body doesn't respond, things don't get done. Living alone removes the option to rely on anyone else. So movement becomes part of his life, not something he schedules. Most men think independence is a freedom. At 60, it becomes a fitness program. Every meal, every chore, every trip up the stairs, life keeps asking one question. Can you still do this yourself? And over time, something becomes clear. The men who stay active in simple daily ways stay capable, not because they train harder, but because they never stop using their body. Some other men decide they're already declining. They bring in help for everything. They sit more, and slowly their body follows that decision. A man doesn't lose his strength all at once. He loses it when he stops using what he still can. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Most men assume their body is already fading, but they haven't actually tested it. A body isn't a clock, it's a tool. And tools weaken faster when they are ignored than when they're used every day. So if you're 60 and still flexible, still able to handle most of your daily tasks on your own, you're already carrying a form of strength many men lose too early. He stays steady. A man who lives alone at 60 doesn't get to be careless with his body. Not dramatic, just real. One wrong step, one moment of inattention. At 30, a bad decision becomes a funny story. At 60, it can become 6 weeks of recovery, and there's no buffer, no one nearby, no quick help, and no one even knows it happened. That reality changes how a man moves. Most men ignore it. They rush, they get sloppy, they move like nothing can go wrong because for most of their life, someone was always around. That layer is gone now, and one careless moment can change everything. So the men who stay sharp adjust fast. He becomes deliberate in how he moves. No wasted motion, no imbalance, like a craftsman in his own space. Every movement measured, nothing careless. Or like a fighter who doesn't rush, because one wrong step costs more now than it used to. Not because he's trying to look impressive, but because at this age, slipping in your own bathroom is a very expensive way to learn humility. Getting out of the shower without rushing. Walking through a tight space without clipping anything. Carrying something uneven without shifting off center. That's not caution, that's control. And control is a form of strength, because when your body stays steady and nothing around you is there to catch a mistake, you're not at risk. You've removed the conditions that create it. If that hits you, go ahead and hit like. That's a man noticing what still works. He doesn't use relationships to escape silence. At some point, the urge doesn't feel like love. It feels like urgency. A quiet evening in his own place, the phone within reach. He wants to text someone, just to hear a voice in the room. At this age, he doesn't miss a woman the way he used to. He misses the noise, the feeling of not being alone with his own thoughts. So he reaches out, not to build something real, but to escape a few quiet hours that suddenly feel longer than they used to. The bed feels bigger than it is, because no one has touched the other side in a long time. And that's where it starts slipping. Because when a man uses a relationship to escape himself, he brings an unfinished version of himself into it. And sooner or later, he pays for it through drama, unnecessary complexity, and the chaos that comes from attaching himself to the wrong person. He's not choosing her, he's choosing relief. And relief doesn't build anything that lasts. A different man notices that moment and stops. Not because he doesn't want connection, but because he refuses to build it on a weak foundation. So instead of reaching outward, he stabilizes himself first. He keeps his energy and attention for what genuinely engages him and what moves him forward. A skill, a new field, something that demands growth instead of draining it, not to impress anyone, to remove the need. Because when urgency fades, connection becomes cleaner, not heavier. He no longer looks at someone and wonders, can you fill this space? And that changes everything. There's no rush in his tone, no quiet fear of losing her. If she fits, she stays. If she doesn't, nothing breaks. Because he already built a life that holds its shape, even when no one else is in it. The moment he stops chasing the relief, he becomes very difficult to pull into anything shallow. He's one of the few men who learned how to live alone without trying to escape it. He trusts his judgment. One afternoon, he realized something strange. The things that once made him second-guess himself no longer had much power over him. That had not always been true. There was a time when he constantly looked for reassurance, a second opinion, someone to tell him he was making the right choice, because certainty felt safer than responsibility. But living alone changes that. Sooner or later, every decision lands in the same place, with him. No one arriving with the answer, no one removing the uncertainty first. And after enough years, something shifts. He stops asking, what if I make the wrong choice? And starts asking, if it goes wrong, can I handle it? That question changes everything. Because experience teaches him something most people learn too late. Very few decisions ruin your life. Most simply require adjustment. So he decides, then adapts, then keeps moving. And little by little, confidence returns. Not the loud confidence of a man trying to impress people. The quieter confidence of a man who has solved enough problems to trust himself. Because certainty is never guaranteed, but the ability to adapt can be. And when a man finally learns that, he stops waiting for permission from life before moving forward. He resets himself. There was a man named Victor, 65, who started sitting in silence every afternoon because he didn't know what else to do with the hours. One day he realized it wasn't rest. It was him disappearing while still being awake. And that's more dangerous than being tired, because you stop noticing you're not really there. That was the moment he stood up and forced himself to move, just to feel like he was still there. When you live alone, your state is your responsibility. If you don't reset it, it decides the rest of your day. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." But most men never use that power. They wait and slowly lose control. So the men who stay sharp build a reflex. They don't wait for it to pass, they cut it early, before it takes the rest of the day with it. At first, Victor just moved around the house, getting a glass of water, opening the window. Then he decided to take a walk to a nearby park, watching people and children playing around him. That afternoon changed nothing around him, but he was back inside his life again. Most men at this age become passive with their energy. They wait for something to change how they feel. But a man who lives alone doesn't have that luxury. So at 60, if you can still shift your own state without needing anyone else to pull you out of it, you're not drifting, you're still in command. Everyone has something that pulls them back when the days slip. The strongest men learn to find it before they need it. His life becomes interesting again. A strange thing happens when a man lives alone long enough. Parts of him start coming back. Not the responsibilities, not the obligations, the person underneath them. One Saturday morning, Jonas woke up with no plans, too quiet, too much time to think. Part of him kept reaching for noise just to avoid the silence. Then he decided to visit a museum he used to love. He hadn't been there in more than 20 years. Walking through the exhibits, he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. For 2 hours, he forgot how old he was. On the drive home, he caught himself smiling. Next time, I'm bringing my grandson. Life suddenly felt a little bigger again. Many men spend so many years responding to life that they stop exploring it. They become reliable, responsible, necessary. And somewhere along the way, curiosity quietly leaves the room. Then life becomes quieter, and something unexpected returns. They try new places, learn things nobody asked them to learn, take roads with no practical purpose, not because they are escaping life, because they are finally experiencing it again. Most people think strength comes from carrying more. Sometimes strength comes from rediscovering what makes you feel alive. He stopped seeking permission. After spending enough time on your own, you start speaking differently. You stop rehearsing what to say just to be understood. If something fits your life, you stop feeling the need to defend it. He no longer needs every person to understand him, and he no longer needs every decision to be approved. A man was once asked why he didn't reply to a message earlier. Years ago, he would have over-explained himself for 10 minutes just to avoid disappointing people. But this time he simply said, "I saw it. I just needed some time to myself." And that was enough. No panic, no performance, no exhausting need to justify every small decision. To his surprise, nobody argued. Most of the pressure had been living inside his own head, and people noticed the difference immediately. A man who stops over-explaining himself sounds calmer, more certain, like someone who stopped worrying about disappointing people every time he made a decision. He sets boundaries. By 60, a man has learned that if he becomes too accommodating to everyone around him, he ends up losing himself. He's still kind, but he's no longer always available. He no longer feels the need to impress everyone around him. And with it comes a kind of freedom many men spend decades searching for. "Brother, can you help me arrange this? Can I borrow your car for a few days?" For years, he said yes because he feared disappointing people. Then he discovered something. Disappointing yourself hurts longer. Now he decides first, then answers. And the answer is simple. Yes or no. Clear, without turning it into a performance. Not because he doesn't care, because he's already clear. Most men think being liked will protect their relationships. It doesn't. Especially when he lives alone, he feels that pull to stay connected with others. But every unclear agreement comes back to cost him later. Like when he's already booked a weekend trip, then realizes he casually promised to help a friend move. An awkward situation he created himself. So he stops negotiating with things he already decided. If it fits his life, he takes it on, without resentment. If it doesn't, he steps back, without making the other person feel small. Because a man who knows his limits doesn't create confusion around him. There's no guessing, no mixed signals, and over time, people start respecting his words because they know his answer doesn't change once it leaves his mouth. When he says yes, it happens. When he says no, it stands. And that kind of consistency is rare, especially in a world where most people say what feels right in the moment, then change it when the moment passes. He doesn't, because he's no longer trying to keep everyone comfortable. So if you can still hold your ground like this, you're not difficult. You're one of the few men who didn't trade clarity just to be accepted. And that's why you're stronger than most people realize. He finds purpose again. One of the hardest truths about aging alone is rarely discussed. A man can survive loneliness. What is harder is feeling unnecessary. And after a while, a question quietly appears. Do I still matter to anyone? The painful part is not that nobody needs him. It's realizing he no longer knows why he needs himself. That question has broken stronger men than silence ever could. Because for most of their lives, purpose arrived automatically. A family needed them. A job depended on them. Someone was always asking for something. Then one day the demands become quieter. And many men mistake that silence for irrelevance. Because for the first time in decades, nobody is asking anything from them. And at first, that can feel less like freedom and more like disappearance. But the strongest men discover something different. Purpose does not disappear. It changes direction. One man joins a group that meets in the park every morning to exercise. Another starts posting videos online, sharing what he has learned from years of caring for his garden. Someone else finds deep satisfaction serving at his church. Different activities, the same result. They all give him a reason to keep showing up. Not because the world is watching, because he is. And that changes everything. He stops measuring his value by how much other people need him. He starts measuring it by how faithfully he lives his own life. That is why his smile looks different. It is not excitement. It is not entertainment. It is not the temporary pleasure of distraction. It is the quiet satisfaction of a man who still has a reason to get out of bed in the morning. And a man who can create meaning for himself is far stronger than most people realize. So why do some men become stronger than ever after 60? Not because life suddenly becomes easier. It doesn't. There are still losses, still difficult days, still moments when nobody is coming to help. But strength was never built by avoiding those moments. It was built by facing them. And perhaps that is the greatest truth about aging alone. The strongest men do not become stronger because they live alone. They become stronger because living alone forces them to discover what they are truly capable of. Many people look at an older man living alone and assume he has lost something. What they often fail to see is what he has gained: clarity, self-reliance, confidence in his own judgment, and the quiet knowledge that he can handle more than he once believed. That is why some men are stronger at 60 than they ever were at 30, not because they have fewer problems, because they no longer need life to be easy before they trust themselves. And that may be the strongest thing a man can carry into old age. If this resonated with you, let us know in the comments what has made you stronger over the years. And subscribe to Move or Die Stoic for more timeless wisdom on strength, resilience, and living well.